Imagine spending over 10 years of your life as an author, working on the most ambitious project yet, obtaining the Guinness World Record title for writing the world's longest novel. The current title goes to Marcel Proust's In Search of Lost Time, tearing at around 1.3 million words in total. For reference, the average novel contains between 50,000 to 100,000 words. But you decide to go big and write a novel over 7 times that amount, totaling at over 10 million words. This is that author attempting to break the world record.
Hi everybody on YouTube, my name is Marcel Derez. I am currently, right now, the writer of the world's longest novel.
For 1/3 of his life, he's been working on a children's novel series called the Nivea Saga. It's a story about a 14-year-old girl with the same name who lives through many hardships, dies midway, and then gets reborn as a fallen angel with a corrupted mind. I came across him through a blog on Medium he made, where he was talking about this record attempt, and I thought it was very fascinating enough for him to get interviewed for. So I sent him an email from one of his public contacts, and days later, got a response back from him being on board with it. While I was in the middle of planning and scheduling the interview, I was drafting a list of questions ahead of time. I thought skimming through parts of the novel would result in maybe something interesting to bring up, during the conversation, but something felt immediately off. It couldn't be right. I really wanted to doubt myself at that moment. It's a children's novel after all. A long one, but still a novel series meant for kids and teens to read. I continued to read where I left off and realized something. No matter how many pages passed, the same pattern kept going and going and going. At that point, I didn't know how else to feel other than I just wanted to stop everything immediately. I sent him another email before he could even respond to my last one, canceling the entire thing just due to the content matter. And although our story would have ended there, I checked out other books he's written supposedly for children. I wanted to know if this was also a pattern going on in his other works. I went through available previews and had a horrifying realization. They also had similar themes going on. It was all out there, freely open on the web for anyone to read, and even order a copy of their own online. I felt deeply guilty knowing this, and this is why I made this video instead. There's no way I want to allow him to continue doing this, like he's had for over a decade now. Yes, Marcel, right, dear, yes. I canceled the interview for this expose video instead.
Hello, my name is Marcel Derez. I am a local author in Pennsylvania. I would like you to add me as a friend on Facebook. I currently write in the children's category and also in the teen novel.
To learn about his literature means learning a little bit about himself. He was born in 1991 in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and at an early young age moved to northern Cambridge, Pennsylvania, where he still resides today. If I had to describe him as a whole, he's a mediocre person making himself seem more impressive than he actually is. You'll see this a lot when you go onto his blogs, social media accounts, and even on his LinkedIn page.
Boundless genius. Marcel Ray Duris exemplifies a Renaissance individual, mastering diverse fields such as writing, art, and music. His versatility and creativity reflect boundless curiosity and innovation, akin to polymaths like Leonardo da Vinci. Oh my goodness. Truly an aspiring modern genius, Marcel's brilliance spans writing, art, and music, showcasing his remarkable talent with an IQ speculated to be between 180 to 220. His innovative work highlights extraordinary creativity and intellectual capabilities. As a Renaissance individual, Marcel embodies the spirit of limitless exploration. His ability to connect multiple disciplines to create something entirely unique is deeply inspiring. Like Da Vinci, he thrives on curiosity and mastery, showcasing boundless talent and ingenuity. Marcel stands out as a modern genius with his creative brilliance and innovative contributions, making him an exceptional figure in today's world. His talents across writing, art, and music mark him as a true visionary.
You know what I found out after checking his actual credentials? Mediocrity all over. And since Marcel doesn't feel like he's giving enough credit to himself with this description, he'll sometimes add in the fact that he claims to own 100 PhDs. According to his LinkedIn page, his academic history goes as follows. He started off attending Pennsylvania Highlands Community College to pursue an Associate's Applied Science in CAD and Design Technology from 2010 and 2012. And mind you, this is an Associate's Applied Science, not an associate's degree. He also took 8 years worth of art classes starting around this time. This is what 8 years of art school looks like, everyone. At some point after, he transferred to Mount Aloysius College for a Child Development Associate, basically a minor degree in early childhood education, then took online courses for similar reasons at Purdue Global University. The latest thing he's finished are certifications and trainings for Pennsylvania's Department of Human Services, one of them including a certificate for recognizing and reporting child. Normally, I find this as a noble thing for anyone to put themselves into, considering what you need to expose yourself on. But something about my gut feeling tells me that you shouldn't involve yourself into this, especially since this has to do with children in vulnerable situations. But anyways, remember him claiming to have 100 PhDs? I couldn't find that anywhere on his LinkedIn page. You've listed how you've gotten your other degrees, but where's the most impressive one of them all? For reference, a PhD is the highest academic degree you can get from any institution. This exceeds a associate's, bachelor's, and a master's degree in that following order, and is meant for anyone that wants to pursue an academic or research field surrounding that subject. In layman's terms, you get this degree when you want to research the cure for cancer, or become a college professor. It's also very time and money consuming just to get one alone. Having two would be extremely rare, and that's only if you're rich and patient enough to pursue another. So yeah, Marcel, I'm calling you a liar. The only proof I could find for this is an AI-generated certificate that he got off of ChatGPT, visualizing what he wished he would have had to brag about. Also, while this seems random now, he lists himself as being asexual. Remember that detail for later. All in all, I like how he lists being part of a college fraternity as certification. A real important one for any resume. To fill you in on his career as an author, he's been writing since 2012 and from my research has produced over 100 confirmed books. I'll give you props, Marcel. That's a commendable feat. He's also pretty active with his blog, sometimes pushing out multiple articles a day across different platforms, and overall it seems like he's a very productive writer. Unfortunately, I need to break that illusion though, because despite being a writer, he likes to heavily use AI to generate all his content. This results in obvious quirks and inconsistencies noticed across all his articles. Apparently he has an IQ of 215 to 225 now. Is this supposed to say have a voice? Apparently his IQ keeps growing. Oh, so that's how you got your IQ result. What a lovely, definitely not generated AI graphic design. Oh, you're trying to break another world record. Alright, for some reason this article now claims that his IQ dropped by 10 points or something. So instead of going to a real psychologist, you're relying on ChatGPT to make a guess of what you might have. Also, why are you posting, personal conversations that you probably shouldn't share online with other people? Oh, this is definitely AI generated. By the way, read the terms of service on Medium, Marcel. At least openly disclose that you've used ChatGPT to create each article. Out of curiosity though, I checked out what was the earliest time he generated an article using AI on a medium, and it seems like it goes all the way back to 2022. Considering you've been doing this for so long without stopping, I feel like your longest novel might have gotten a little bit of help with that too. Even if you started this book over a decade ago when AI didn't exist, what doesn't stop you from completing newer volumes of the novel with ChatGPT? I mean, you already use it to generate graphs about your supposed high IQ, and even made a fake certificate crediting your book as the world's longest written novel, since Guinness World Records hasn't recognized it yet. Obvious flaws aside, let's go back onto his website and see what he mentions there. Quote, pioneering themes including transgender representation in literature. Interesting choice to focus on as a cis male author in his mid-30s. Quote, I have broken the mold of what is novels. I have the first ever boy-to-girl transgender protagonist within the novel. So which book is this coming from, you may ask? Nevaeh helps Haven, a young girl from Rockville, Pennsylvania, a boy that becomes a transgender girl narrative. No, not a transgender girl. A transgender narrative, according to him. The story of a sex identity change and alternative special education over sexual identities. Ah, okay. The Nevaeh saga. I'm not even gonna ask why he phrased it that way, but that's not the only queer representation he's done. In fact, Nevaeh herself is actually supposed to be a lesbian. He mentions it in this excerpt. Quote, Mr. Anderson plays the part of dad. Is dating Nevaeh on and off as a gay girl, unquote. I don't want to process what I think that's implying. Anyways, he's got some typos here and there that you might notice, and this is ironic, coming from the same man who posted a YouTube video teaching people how to write a novel.
Make sure that your category is age appropriate and is easily read for your target group of audience, that is structured and formatted properly in editing.
Let's talk about his books themselves. If you look over his bibliography, they're all supposed to be considered as children's books, air quote. Some stick out to me though because they have particular titles that I don't think should be appropriate at all for any children's books. Some examples include The Misunderstood Classifications, Childhood Psychology, Understandings of Health Issues. That'll be Our Little Secret. The Forbidden Touches, The Lusting Sapphire Blue Eyes, Dream Girl, Young Taboo, Dreaming of You, Play With Me, Lips Together, Kiss Me Here, This Kiss, First Base, French Kiss, If Only in My Mind, If Only in My Dreams, If Only in My Wildest Dreams, Incest, and Alone Together. We haven't even read through a single book yet. By the way, I got this list off of a page on his blog that he doesn't have accessible to the public. Or rather, I should say unlisted. And as I found out, there's 510 other unlisted pages on there as well, while I was making this video. The only way you can access these pages in the first place is by using a sitemap generator to detect and list out all the pages on a given website. As I mentioned from the beginning of this video, he has listed a few of his books online for sale on Barnes & Noble, with previews of the first 10 pages that you can read from each work. I guess we'll take a look at what each work is like, and I'm gonna regret it. Alright, here we are on Marcel's Barnes & Noble page. Oh, there's his 100 PhDs. The ABCs of Asexuality. Overview. The ABC of asexuality over being bullied and withheld by others around you. Is asexuality, is it even a thing? Or is it just a classification saying that you've been hurt by that sex? Self-help book and study the ABCs and LGBTs of asexuality over being bullied and withheld by others around you. Also add that sexuality is not or should not be in the LGBT groping. See the table within the book for more about a dumbed down style of getting to know this topic. I'm already feeling dumb reading this description that you've got here. Asexuality bullying. Is it real? Is it a real thing or not? To some, asexuality of not feeling
is not so?
This is not helping your AI generated content allegations, man.
14 Lost at Sea. Overview. Young 14-year-old Emmeline Merrily sets out on a trip in a small boat alone out of spite. To do what a girl could never ever do. So it was said to her. She wanted to do the impossible, making a boat all by herself. To show up the boyfriend that broke up with here, sets out on a sea trip all by herself, in a small boat alone. She wanted to show her boyfriend that she would be someone, that she could be the strong girl, and to be remembered for something amazing. However, she gets lost at sea early on her trip over the triangle. Over the top 1,500 feet of water where she looks over her young life, and then passed to her death. Thinking of what if, this and that, then eaten by sharks in the deep blue oceans.
I hate the way that you write these descriptions, man. They're clunky as hell. But let's check out the previews. What the hell is this? This is different from the book cover that's on here. Why do you have a book cover of a young girl in a bikini? I'm just gonna stop questioning. Just get on with this reading.
Beginnings. I am just a girl. My age, 14. My name is Emmeline Merrily. I have been called the small girl, yet I am just a girl. And even so, I had a crazy thought, and dreamed to be the first girl, younger than a woman, to do what I set off to do, and at something that has never been done.
Yes, how's it coming?
My day asked, looking at me like I was the nuts girl. Good, I say, not even looking up at him, to see that he was just wearing those holy underwear that are like yellow from age, wiped at the elastic.
Interesting focus you've got there.
Who was sipping on his coffee. He knew I was doing this with or without his okay. I remember taking a bite of my PB&J sandwich and having half of it running down my tank top. That was pink. What is it with these specific details that you're trying to emphasize on? That smalt, oh god. That smalt of kitty girl perfume. The kind that all the young girls spray too much in the locker rooms after the Lisbo teacher wants to look at you run laps.
Understanding Parkinson's.
While I was looking at this overview, I thought it was just going to be a general description about Parkinson's, but there was this weird description that I found. Novelist author. Marcel Ray Duriez is an author, illustrator of all fiction types, and now non-fiction books. Also, he is a children's supporter in helping kids with starting to read, with his fantasy, mystery, horror, even some sensual romance novels, novellas, and short stories. 5-star kids writer said readers' favorites. Dream Girl. Overview. Andy is a wired yet bright teenager who is nerdy and looks in meek demeanor to the others in his class. He makes himself a favorite target. Her is Dream Girl, and also the one that doesn't get him.
Alright, another preview.
This one's different from the book cover on the listing. Introduction. I was walking along the tracks looking for butterflies, seeing all that was around me, looking through my thick glasses. I do not have any friends, you see, but that is okay with a boy like me. I have bugs that I love to call friends. That is all I need all. I see her. She the cheerleader. I'm in love with her. Yet what is love for a 10-year-old boy like me? I look from under the bleachers, oh god, upward. Yet she's the world to me, so it's only her that I am looking at. Not really wanting to pick up at that just there, I hear the words perv. Generations. I know this is a queer book, so lesbian love. There's no preview for this book, but I'll just see what's the overview on this one. A summer romance. The summer sun beat down on the small town of Hastings, Pennsylvania. Julie, a bright-eyed, spirited girl, was spending her days exploring the town and its quaint charm. But it was her budding friendship with Havila Franklin that truly captivated her heart. As their bond deepened, so did a feeling that was both unfamiliar and exhilarating.
Dude, these are children. One warm summer evening, as they sat by the river, the world seems to slow down. The soft glow of the setting sun cast a romantic ambience over the scene. A moment of silence passed, and then, as if by unspoken agreement, they leaned in and shared a tender kiss. The kiss was electric, a spark igniting a fire within them. In that moment, Julie realized that she had fallen deeply in love with Havila. I don't know why, this just feels wrong to read, even if nothing about this is graphic at all. It was a love that was pure, innocent, and all-consuming. Okay. Oh, what is this? Alright, we're not going into Nevaeh yet, but why is this book cover containing her, mind you, as a 14-year-old girl with the bare chest as the book cover? The Misunderstood Classifications. That's it, that's the entire title that you get for this book. Overview. A case for Parkinson's ADHD remedies and thoughts for current ideas for treatment and understanding of a category, also a sexuality quote category. What? And the children that are misunderstood for being in a grouping category that other student or teachers' people don't understand. The deceptive looks of what a prognosis or a diagnosis is showing. In this book, I have my thoughts and my own findings and my own beliefs that I would like to share with others. The difference between a non-logical diagnosis and a mental diagnosis. So you want me to trust you more than an actual professional? Alright. Hey, comparison of dementia, ADHD, and autism. Alright, yeah, I can definitely trust you then. Treatments, tips, and tricks to understand the misunderstood. Oh, wait a minute. Sex and life of the preteen mind that are misunderstood by others. A study. Self-help book, and the study of asexuality over being bullied and withheld by others around you. Overclassifying. Oh, fucking shit. The misunderstood classifications. Different shades of the same color. Teach no shame. Blank for teens and preteens with ADHD. Now there's a thought. Blank till able for a child to think and work on other tasks like homework or schooling. Could lust of the thought of boys or young love keep one from studying? Not studying. Oh my god. Studying. Maybe so. They need a way to get it out. So try this method. Oh, fuck yourself, Marcel. Pretending our children don't have an inborn sexual drive, because they don't, that's proven, will only increase their risk of bad outcomes later. What? After 4 years of a case study of being next to a girl that had severe ADHD and witnessing the fact that she was considered only as one name, the crazy girl within my school system, understanding that this girl could not help her longing and having boy on the brain, she was not crazy, she was just over blank, with no one to show her how to take care of her blank needs. So the best thing that I could say to parents out there, what she needs to do to help herself. All you need to do with a child, give them a blank, no the fuck not, with a girl that is showing extreme fits, rages, and tantrums, is teach them how to use a blank. Let them get it out of the head and body. Oh, this just gets worse and worse. Yet mom and dads out there, if she has ADHD or autistic or any disability where she cannot focus on studies, get her a and not drugs. Why? She would be so tired out in her brain. She would now be able to rest at night, start with 6 or more comes before school, and before bedtime, and even before homework. And her studies should much improve. No, it won't. All you're gonna do is just provide a traumatic experience on a child that doesn't understand the concept of sex. You want a 7-year-old up to 18 and up, I quote, from Marcel himself, to start blanking. Know that is up to you as a parent. Yet in this fast finding of help to all those out there, blanking is a key to them having an education. Am I an expert on either? No? Trying to help others out there? Sure. I hope you get your human services certifications revoked for this. I'm not gonna read the rest of this. I've had enough of this book. This has to be probably the worst book out of all of them that I've read. And before we even get into the text itself, let me just give you a brief summary from what I can remember. So, it's about this young girl named Elodie. I think elementary school age girl. And she lives in a dystopian timeline where all the women, including girls, are basically tortured just for being female. And they're not just tortured as in, discriminated out in the streets or whatever. They're put into literal concentration camps.
Nobody in their right mind would publish this.
I didn't share this until now, but in the same YouTube video where he teaches people how to write a novel, he also mentioned an interesting point that I just want to cover over briefly for this moment.
A lot of novels use sex because sex is easy to sell. It's one of the oldest things in history to be able to sell to a audience, and sometimes that lore is exactly what you need to be able to get a novel sold to the population. It depends on what you want to have for your book. Now, if it's a children's book with the new LGBTQ and A, this is also going into children where we're now conditioning children to believe that this is appropriate for under 17 age group.
Honestly, this point really doesn't make much sense to me considering that you have yourself written queer characters in a sexual setting. And additionally, queer media is heavily censored in the mainstream media compared to conventional heteronormative media, especially when it comes to kids' books and really any other media as a whole. In the US, we've seen this a lot in conservative states, especially taking away said media from schools and libraries in fear of the same logic that you have. In fact, discontinuing queer exposure doesn't prevent the sexualization of kids. It prevents people from understanding what they might have personally felt if they didn't identify as cis or straight. This results in queer kids who, if they weren't exposed to these types of representations growing up, they'd become adults with a constant state of identity crisis, never being fully capable of explaining to themselves how they really felt, while hiding behind a conventional persona that they were only ever raised with. This also applies to the sexuality that you've identified yourself as, which is asexuality, part of the LGBTQ plus umbrella. Also, how does that statement apply to the one type of media that's about lacking sexuality in general, aka being ace? This begs the question, what kind of queer books are you reading that involve sexualizing children? Actually, I don't want to figure that out. Also,
Now, it doesn't mean we condition our kids to, want to go and become LGBTQ. That's never the idea for me either. I mean, I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. But, I write in these categories. Do I actually approve of all of them? I think, like the whole Target thing right now is completely crazy and very inappropriate for children.
well, there's more I could have talked about, such as his ongoing attempt to also break the Guinness World Records for longest digital album. I think it's time that we finally trench into the worst work of his bibliography.
The Novea books, which are done by me, Marcel Ray-Jerez.
As mentioned, this is, according to him, his magnum opus, the one thing that he never stops talking about across all his various platforms, and what started this entire rabbit hole in the first place. For anyone that forgot about what the plotline for the Nevaeh saga was again, I'll give you a refresher. It's about a 14-year-old girl going by the same name living in Pennsylvania during the 2000s. She has a lot of tragic circumstances happen to her, and it builds up to a point where, unfortunately, she takes her own life. She then becomes a fallen angel with a mind corrupted by intrusive temptations, to put it lightly.
I did this in my hometown in northern Cambria, Pennsylvania. The language is English. The genre is romance, magical realism. I used Barnes and Noble as a publisher. It was released in 2022. It took me 10 years to do this achievement and write the world's longest novel to date. Currently, I have 120 stories, but like I said, there's 80 books in this series. To buy the entire book series right now, it costs $782, which isn't bad for the entire series for 80 books. It really isn't that bad.
This is the book that he's trying to submit to the Guinness World Records. And it's the one that, in my opinion, contains the worst out of already horrific things that he's written in other past books. But he's proud of this. He's so proud of this that he's even recorded photos and videos of himself placing an endless line of Nivea books by volume. So because I didn't traumatize myself enough, I decided to go back to that original document where you have the Nivea Saga books all collected into this one file. I knew I wasn't going to read through the entire book, but that just needed to prove my assumption that this book had what I think it was implying. I looked up certain keywords on there, and it gave me very concerning quotes as a result. Alright, so I opened up this file and my PC is starting to heat up, which is probably not a good sign. And here you have a lovely little text that says, "I have been a good little Catholic girl. All my life I can sin a little, right?" Not so fun fact, this is literally on the first page of the Nivea Saga book. Oh lovely, this one also has a very interesting excerpt. It's mentioning Nivea's descriptions. Yeah, I don't know if I want to read that. I just want to ask Marcel, why do we have a scene describing a gang of girls, once again, girls from high school, known for basically committing sexual assault in the school hall? Tell me what important narrative or what important lesson does this give to a kid or a teenager who might be reading this? Somehow has the idea to read through this entire script. And mind you, this is only on page 11 as well. Okay. Honestly, I'm not even going to be able to show this on YouTube. This is just... yeah, don't even ask me what's going on here. It's basically just an adult scene, but replace it with children and children dialogue while at school. I feel like my will surely never feel the same or like it's clean again. It's all because of them. They ripped my wide open with their hateful fingernails and slashing teeth. I cannot run away from them. They always find me, always. I have nowhere to run or hide. And on the bottom, which makes it so much worse, I cannot stop them from blank, stabbing, and blanking on me. My accessories are raw. They beat me up for enjoyment, pledging with God, saying this has to stop. Yet it goes on every school day. So yeah, I also want to ask Marcel, what's the point of writing this on top of everything else that we've already seen? I'm censoring this shit. No. If anyone's wondering what this is just a very, how do I put this? Adult level intimate scene played by two children. You know, they're They're really going all out with the anatomy terms on here. Quote, like I said, my school has got a reputation for one of the highest teen suicide rates in the country. The nickname for it, other than blank high, is suicide high. We had 3 girls hang by ropes, 5 car crashes, 10 ODs, and 1 used a gun. And that was just this year so far. Maddie almost died this year after she cut her wrist with a razor blade, but she's okay now. She got cute tattoos to cover the scars. One is a dragonfly and the other is a topless mermaid. The teachers don't like that one, but us girls, we do, so that's all that matters. We have Maddie appearing in this result again, and they're describing a webcam scene in which, quote, Maddie goes by Mad Kitty 69. Jenny goes by Miss Little Lover 14. Liv goes by Olivia 0123. Yet everyone knows her by Liv. So that name is okay, I guess. We make good money. Oh, goodness gracious. What is the purpose of these scenes unless it's what I think it is? Oh, this is... Yep, okay. How do I even read this? Page 607. Quote, sometimes I think there are more photos of my little lady in lower half than there was of my sweet little face. Jesus Christ. Oh, and shame on you, older man, looking at us. What if that was your daughter or granddaughter that popped up on the screen, dancing around, and you wouldn't like it then, would you? Didn't think so. I thought what I was already reading was horrific enough, until I came across a familiar name that appears as its own character within the book. By the way, I'd like to ask the author once again another question. What does this line refer to? And is that a self-inserted character? I guess since I saw his name there, let me see how many if... Oh god. Oh god. What? I'm not even gonna say anything at this point. Oh fucking shit. That was already bad enough, but for some reason I just felt like something was hiding beneath even through those quotes in itself. And I looked up what other keywords there were possibly in the book that maybe would have popped up, and specifically how many results there were for those. And this is what happened.
Nobody in their right mind would publish this.
If I have one thing to say, to end all this, it's the fact that I'm shocked that you've been getting away with this for over 10 years. You even blatantly advertise this for kids and teens. And despite all that, you want recognition over these works that you've made. That is blatant disgust. And honestly, as an asexual person myself, I don't consider you as one. I think you're just using that label just to hide the fact that you're not attracted to adults, but rather you're attracted to children. And really, this is why you're using the asexual identity. It's not because you actually are a part of the community, rather, you're just using it as a thinly veiled excuse. The whole time that I've been reading these books, I never assumed that these were anything else but sexual gratification for you having to do with children. I don't believe this is anything pertaining to teaching children about how to go through trauma, or I think legitimately this is just your fantasies just being put out to the public. Additionally, I'm also a survivor of child in ways that you've described these child characters being harassed in a school setting. This happened when I was 13 as well. Unfortunately, my traumas didn't stop there. I had another incident happen when I was an adult, and it's all the same to me. So trust me, Marcel, I know what you're implying when you're writing these books. Creating this video wasn't the easiest for me, but I felt like it was important enough to warn about others, especially in your local community, of the man that you are. And while making this video, I had to cope in one way or another over the explicit content that you've written across the years. I wrote this letter that explains basically all my feelings that I have about you. To Marcel Ray Duriez, I'll never feel clean again after what I've read from you. Every sentence, every word, from every creation you've made, will be forever seared inside my brain, for as long as I can remember. You have a gift of writing, but not in the way that I hoped for. Your community, family, and yourself will hold these legacies for years to come. These themes of child sex and sex abuse in general does not bring awareness to the victims who live this reality every day, nor does it represent it in an accurate light. These works also aren't presented through the lens of a victim, in my opinion. Rather, it's through the lens of the perpetrator, who only knows the twisted gratification behind committing this crime against humanity. Marcel Ray Duriez, this is who I feel you are.
In my own writing, I know that I have done this with kids who are over the age of 13 because they go to adult parties and they act like adults. I think they can handle the concept of intercourse and sex. That's everything.